We are live. It is 3:31 Central Standard Time in the United States, 9:31 GMT. No, I'm sorry, BST. BST in the UK. It's BST in the UK. It's the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe.
Hey.
Coming to you live this 7th, right? Not the 8th, because we're going off on a Saturday. And the reason for that is because tomorrow I have to pick my daughter from the airport, and it's right in the middle of the day. And unfortunately, I don't live close to Lambert International Airport in St. Louis. It's like an hour away. So I let Joe know that, hey, tomorrow's not going to work. He's like, hey, mate, you want to jump on? And I said, what the hell? Why not? Nobody listens to this thing anyway. So Yeah. So what's a Saturday? Who cares, right? It's Saturday last minute, right? So we'll put up a thing on Twix.
On Saturday instead.
Yeah, we'll do the thing on Twix, and we'll hang out, and we'll do the thing. And if people show up, great. If they don't show up, that's okay too. They can listen later. So, so I felt kind of bad because after having Adam on last week, we didn't have a guest on this week, but I just didn't want to miss out on any kind of discussions we could have. And Joe's working on some honor stuff, so we can talk about that and just whatever else is going on. You know, we never prepare for this show, and especially last minute, there was nothing I prepared for at all. I wasn't actually prepared, so it's cool. So thanks a lot. And Sean's in the chat. Hey, Sean, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a long time. How you been, sir? Hopefully everything is going good on your side of the world. And I don't know, Sean will understand this. I kind of came upon this kind of a New York, kind of Staten Island kind of thing. So he's like, yeah, fuck your life, bing bong. Okay, so there you go. So that's how it goes, right? So I don't know.
What is that?
I don't know. It's like a bing bong kind of thing. I don't know. So it's a video on TikTok, but I've heard everybody else say it, so it's kind of funny. So anyway, I don't know. It sounds very New York. That's what I'm saying.
Is this the start of your TikTok?
No. Hell no. Hell no, dude. Like I said, the only reason I have a TikTok account is because the girls and my wife send me stuff, and it's actually when I did
was going somewhere else, and the only reason I go on TikTok is because of the girls. And
yeah, he's been on for a while. So anyway, it's kind of funny. Anyway, and then the other day, yesterday, I got this thing, and it was, I don't know where it's from. It's one of the TikTok channels, and what it is it's like it was John Wilkes Booth going into shoot Lincoln. And it's done in a Gen Z selfie stick kind of thing. So he's like, hey, fam, what's up? John Wilkes Booth here. Yeah, I'm going to go in and got a mission to go do this thing. I'm going to step inside. It's going to get lit. We're going to have a bunch of and it's hilarious because it's just and they had George Washington going, yeah, we're going to get these redcoats, dog. And we're going to main character and you're going to run these guys off. You know, it's funny because it's historical events like the Delaware, crossing the Delaware, but he's got a selfie stick. It's totally stupid. It's totally stupid, but it's kind of funny.
Because I watched literally about 20 minutes ago, some guy does old vlogs. One was as Jesus, and he was when the water split,
right?
But he's vlogging it. He's like, "Oh man,
the
army's following us."
Yeah, I noticed it's like doing historical events, but doing it from a Gen Z. It's actually kind of stupid in a way, but it's actually really kind of funny.
It's quite funny, man. Yeah,
it's just hilarious.
Is this Yeti guy, and he's green, and he goes, "I'm not sure who my dad is, but judging by my color," she said something about he's a grumpy guy. But he goes, but also he could be a superhero. But yeah, it's just, you have to watch it. It's quite funny.
I will tell you. So the interesting thing about TikTok and really in social media in general, but just TikTok, I noticed. Hey, Ron, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Thanks for stopping by. I know. We might get some different folks because, like I said, I think a lot of folks aren't really. Saturdays are kind of a bad day, really, generally, because it's for most folks who are working, maybe usually Sunday, unless you're in retail or other lines of work, emergency services, hospital work, that kind of thing. Sunday's kind of an off day, right, for most people, but that's the only day they have off, right? So they're doing things with their families, or they're not. And the middle of the day is just terrible, right? So they're, out and about, and then summertime's up. So it's just, I realize that, getting people to watch the live on a Sunday afternoon is probably not great. It's just that it's the best time for Joe and I, and also too, it's one of those things where, again, this really wasn't designed to be a live stream. The whole point of the show is to be an audio podcast that we would just upload later. So it's really an audio show. And so, and the problem is we have other people who like Friday night, and I know Gigi does a Tuesday night, and then she does a Saturday night, members only kind of thing. So, and everybody else is kind of all over the weekday and stuff. So, again, it's not an ideal time slot for a live stream, but hey, we thought, what the hell? Anyway, so anyways, back to the TikTok thing. I find it funny that you have these channels that are pretty, I think they're pretty creative, right? And it's pretty funny to watch, and the production quality is really good. So if it's just a group of people or just one or two people, some of these videos are really pretty well done, right? And then then you have this other part of TikTok, which and somebody's gonna have to explain to me, because maybe this is me showing my, my boomer, energy, whatever. It's like it's what it is. It's like they're like lives where people just like live stream, but they're not. And the problem is that when you're swiping up looking for stuff, you'll have actually videos like the one we talked about, which is pretty cool. But then you've got these people doing live streams, but they're like, it's like women cooking in a kitchen, or somebody's folding laundry, or they're just sitting in their car and they're just talking about whatever. It's the weirdest thing. I don't even know. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I guess they're doing it to get likes or stuffs, or I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure I get that. So you just watch someone live their life like.
I don't know if they're even living. Like, some people, like, it seems like they're like cooking a meal, and it's almost all women. Like, I don't see a lot of guys doing it unless they're like playing a game. It's like guys are like streaming games, or maybe they're working on a car.
So wait, is there commentary? Like, they're saying, so I'm doing.
Some people they're talking. Like, people come into the chat and they say, "Hey, Swizzle Stick," and "Hey, Jim Job," and all this, and then some of them are just sitting there like staring at the screen. And I'm like, what? I don't understand it. Like, I don't get it, man. I guess. And then they're like other people, like one lady was there, she was talking about something, and she was like, I looked like she was folding laundry, and there was a kid in the background going, "Hey," and then she was having this conversation with this child who might have been like maybe a little kid, like maybe 8, off camera. I'm like, I don't understand what is going on. What are we doing here, folks? I don't know. I guess people, not that you can live stream, I guess you just can. And, it's a random Thursday and you're making, tacos. Why not just live stream? And so if people,
thing you say, Sam, right?
I have no clue.
We're kind of two guys just chilling out and hanging and talking.
Yeah, and like I said, and again, we do live stream. We're doing the live stream because it's on YouTube, and it's just part of that. But I don't know. Maybe it's just maybe there's an actual target audience, or maybe there's a reason for it, and I'm just missing it. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, enough of that kind of stuff. Hey, on. Hey, man, it's been a while. Yeah, well, we've been on every week, but I know you've been busy and you probably haven't caught it. And again, we're on a Saturday. So, maybe this is more of a time for folks, right? I don't know. So anyway, so we had Adam on last week, and that was, again, a great conversation because, he's doing freelance work now. And the funny thing is with Joe, your video for your honor came out. And you want to explain like the unboxing, and like, it was only like right at a minute, right? Like maybe 50 seconds or so. So like, what's the thing that you have to do? Like, what's the deliverable? Like, what's the ask on this phone? Like, can you kind of explain it? Because maybe there's people who didn't listen to last week's show and then and maybe not know what's going on.
So there wasn't boundaries set as such, other than the fact that they wanted it to be a minute max. And I need to put it all on my socials. So I kind of rushed it a little bit because I thought I need to get this out there, right? This is funny. Obviously, I've got a new camera. I've not used it much, and I was doing filming from above, right? And I had the mic, DJI mic, attached to the lens hood, right? Because I thought that will sound good. And then I thought, oh, wait a minute, I need to change some autofocus settings. So I went and changed some autofocus settings, and me mic pinged off on the floor. Thought nothing of it, carried on with my settings. I put the damn camera back, didn't I? Without putting the mic back. The mic's sitting over there by the door, and I filmed the whole thing. Now, luckily, the mic still picked it up quite well.
Right, even though it was on the floor, like not even close to where we were.
But so that was the first boo-boo. But oh well, I learned a lesson there. Now, Insta and TikTok, there's no real copyright things on there like for tracks. So the original video put on there went fine. I put it up onto YouTube. Now, bearing in mind I'm a channel with 84 subs, putting
Quite
up
a
a
bit.
min.
That's
It's
quite a bit.
amazing.
That's quite a bit, mate.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. It's rubbish. But anyway, so 84 subs, and I'm putting up a minute short, right?
Right.
And YouTube blocked it for copyright. And
So
what was
so
annoying
was it a non-copyright? Was it like a free song?
it's a royalty-free song, but every royalty-free song I get now, so I use Pixabay, I use Ben Sounds, and I use Upbeats, right? Upbeats I've started using more recently. So I had a license. I used this one from Upbeats. I had a license number. They blocked it. Like I'm such a small channel. Like it's such. So you can dispute it, right? It can take up to 30 days for your dispute to be approved, right? So of course I'm losing patience. So I figured I'd try a different track. That gets blocked. I leave that a day, and eventually, you know, what's it called? NCS. That was called NCS. No copyright sounds.
Okay.
They're on YouTube. And do you remember the old, you know, the websites where you put the YouTube link and it gives you the MP3? I've done that old school way of doing it. I got a track that way, and I reposted it again finally. Yeah. But then the video I posted on YouTube with this new track, I posted it at a rubbish time. It was like 9 p.m. in the end. By the time I finally got it up,
right.
And it's just flopped big time. It's got like 36 views, I think. But oh well, it doesn't matter. It's one of them things. Learning curve for me.
No, Jimmy. No water right now. Maybe later.
There's some in my Ribena.
You caught me at a Saturday, and you caught me not prepared. So this is the rest of a margarita, is what this is.
Oh, nice.
So, well, it's not really. It's okay. So, you know, I used to make my own, and I do when I work at the club, right? So I'll make my own, but it's just. But sometimes I don't want to feel like buying. Like I don't like triple sec. I just don't think it tastes good. Cointro's better, but it's like $45 for a bottle. It's just like, ugh. So, I just get a mix. The one that actually works pretty good is there's like an organic margarita mix, and then I just buy. I mean, you can get crazy with the tequila. I mean, some of these tequilas it's like bourbon. Some of these are like $50, $70, $80 a bottle for a 750 mil. And it's like, and I found what I have found with not only that, but like wines, right? I talked to a guy who was at our club. It was a sommelier. And he was talking about wines, right? He goes, really, if you're going anything over $1,000 bottle, you're probably just flexing. You really aren't getting, like, if you go find a bottle of like maybe like a 25-year, cab or something, like, sitting on a shelf. He goes, yeah, it's probably pretty good, and it might be worth $1,500, but really at that point you're really kind of flexing. You can find really good wines between $500 to $800. Right? That's really pretty good. That's for a bottle. Of course you can.
Yeah.
And so he goes, and it's kind of the same way with the spirits, right? So with the bourbons, the tequilas, those kind of things, right? You can spend $85 or $90, but if you're just making like homemade margaritas, you can get by with a $25 tequila. It doesn't really matter, right? You don't need the Casamigos, the Código, those kind of things. You don't need the Suaves or any Mezcals or anything. You can really kind of get away with just a standard little $22 7. And I guess they and then, like, same with the bourbons too. I've had some that were like $50, $60. I will say that there is an Angel's Envy rye that's really good at $80 a bottle. But man, it's just like when you're just making old fashions, or like just a straight up, if you're drinking it straight or neat or whatever, it's just not worth it. So anyhow,
that was a random segue from talking about my unboxing.
Right. So I guess. Well, first of all, luckily you worked out okay with the microphone, right? It still picked you up. It didn't sound terrible. It didn't sound 100% awesome. But no. I mean, I didn't know, like, listening to it, that the microphone would have been across the room on the floor. Like, I wouldn't have been able to pick that up. I just thought maybe the microphone, maybe the gain was low. Yeah.
Where are they? Yeah, they are. That's testament to these guys because these mics are actually very good. Not
Yeah.
sponsored, but DJI mic mini.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are nice.
little fluffy bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really nice. They clip on to things. Yeah.
So you get 2 of them on that little
Yeah,
kit?
yeah, you get 2, so I could actually do interviews and stuff like that with them.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Not bad.
So anyway, so I guess it's the Honor 400, right? That's the phone.
The 400 Pro. Yeah, the
Okay.
400 Pro. So that's the box. It's out of the box now, of course. I've got a fancy case free from my Honor rep. Because I was like, oh, I need to buy a case because I don't want to break it because I'll be liable for it, of course. She gave me this.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of nice. Is it like a TPU kind of case that has a design
Yeah.
inside or?
So that's a TPU, but there was 3 different inserts, and I picked
Oh,
this
okay.
one. Yeah, that you could put in. Kind of like it looks like an extremeskins.co.uk type of look,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like that's why I thought it was a skins first, but it's actually the insert for the case. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, what do you, is that your? Are you daily driving the 400 Pro? Is that what you're doing, or what?
So, no, finally, I got myself a second SIM, like a really cheap one. So like I can go out and about with that and do the AI stuff that needs a connection. Got a really, really cheap SIM to go in there now.
Okay,
that's where my second SIM is. Yeah.
So what do you think so far? I mean, obviously you're an Honor Hero, so full disclosure, you're in the Honor Heroes program.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, unfortunately, it kind of sucks because I would love to have a chance to try that phone out here in the US. It really stinks that.
So I personally think it's one of the best value phones out potentially, and that's not just with my Honor Hero hat on. That's my genuine thoughts. I mean, I recommended it to one of my good friends.
Right.
So at the moment, you could get it for $549 brand new from Honor. You can get a charging brick with it free and some buds free. And like when you break down the specs of this phone, right? So it's got 8 Gen 3 in there, right? Okay,
Right.
it's last year's flagship, but that's a beast of a chipset, right? It's very solid.
Right.
It's still a flagship chip, really. The screen's 120 hertz, resolution, Ultra HD. It's got a slight curve to it, but it's not so bad, especially once you've got a case on there. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's got a decent 15 megapixel selfie cam for your selfie fans with a 2 megapixel depth sensor. So it should give you decent depth, and the face unlock's okay. It's not the same as the Magic 7 Pro though, because that's
a higher end phone, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the the higher end phone has the 3D time of flight jazz going on, but it's still solid. One thing I don't like is the placement of the fingerprint scanner. I don't like it when they do it so low.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I don't know why some phones do that, because the Magic 7 Pro is higher up. I like it mid-screen like that. But yeah, this one's quite low. I mean, it's not a deal breaker.
Well, maybe it's because maybe it might be because it's the way they have to have where their hardware is at. Maybe they have to move it up, or maybe they just haven't from people that the fact that it's kind of like, it's not exactly the greatest place in the world, right? Right.
Yeah. Sam's got another co-host with him today.
Right. Well, well, the problem is I think my daughter just came home, so the dogs are
the excitement.
Yeah, they want to go downstairs and check and see what's going on with Anna. So she just got home. So, yes, I am in St. Louis. Well, actually, technically, so I am. I don't live in St. Louis City or St. Louis County. Actually, there's a county south of St. Louis called Jefferson, and that's where I live. And I'm actually kind of south central of that. So in order for me to get about, I guess you would call it 45 miles, 50 miles south of St. Louis downtown. So technically, I mean, when you're living in the area and you're kind of in like the St. Charles, St. Louis County, Jefferson County area, everybody says they're in St. Louis. But technically I do not live in St. Louis County or St. Louis City. I live actually south of that. So That's okay. It's like Joe. He like you can say he lives in London, but he's about an hour away. But he's in Luton, so it's not really even a suburb of London. It's just its own little area.
I'm not even in Luton actually. I'm in
Right.
Houghton Regis.
Yeah. So I don't even know what that means. But yeah. So we're not actually in major cities. Joe doesn't live in proper London. I don't live in St. Louis, which is not exactly the most popular city in America. It's definitely kind of on the low end. But
I'm from
so,
London though.
He's from London. Yeah, originally. Right. Me, I actually was born in St. Louis, and so yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not too bad. Unpopular opinion. Michael C, welcome, sir. Haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? I would rather have the HN2, HN3 than my over the 8 Elite. Okay. So I guess my question is why? Is it just because of cost? Is it because you can get pretty good performance, price performance out of the HN2 and 3?
He says why is the thermals and more efficient.
Yeah.
And there is an argument for that, definitely. Because I'm finding a lot of people I speak to, the S25 Ultra, the battery life isn't. They find the battery life isn't quite as good as the S24 and S23 Ultra.
Right.
I'm not finding it too bad, but yeah, it's probably not as good as the S24 Ultra battery life was.
Yeah, I would think that maybe everybody can say that the 8 Gen Elite, the 8 Gen 3, it might be the sweet spot, or 8 Gen 2. I'm okay with even on like some of the Moto phones, right? Or even some of the other budget phones with the MediaTek, or they're like, oh, it's only got the 8 Gen 2. I'm like, but dude, for the 8 Gen 2, unless you're like playing really high-end games, or you're really doing a lot of real intensive video editing or performance task, hell, man, I can still use my Surface Duo 2. It's got a 888, and it still works okay. Again, it struggles a little bit, but I've not had any really problems with the performance and the lag. It's not. I haven't either.
Yeah, I never had an issue. 8 Gen 3 is brilliant. I mean, the 7 Gen 3 is great.
Right, and so in St. Louis, Panera Bread is actually called St. Louis Bread Company because back in the day, it was St. Louis Bread Company, got bought out, and then the locations outside of St. Louis didn't make sense for a location like outside of St. Louis to be called St. Louis Bread Co. So they came up with the Panera name. And it's actually the name of it's actually Panera Bread. That's actually the name of the company. In St. Louis, I think St. Louis people are a little stupid about it, and I think they need to let it go. And it's called St. Louis Bread Co. But really, at this point, it's been Panera Bread for like 15 years. People in St. Louis need to let it go and just call it Panera. It doesn't really matter anymore. Who cares? Everybody knows it as Panera Bread, but to technically, back in the day, it was known as St. Louis Bread Co. St. Louis doesn't need to let it go. Just let it go. It's fine. Just call it Panera. We don't care. It's not that big a deal. But yeah, that's the different name. St. Louis Bread Company. Who cares? And I know Michael's in the Michigan. He's in the area. I actually have been to Detroit and the Upper Peninsula a couple times. I like the area. It's whatever. It's
never been. I'd love to go more places in the US.
It's nice. I like Michigan. It's a nice area. I mean, you got it's cold. It gets really cold. Obviously, it was like it's north, right? North Canadian border kind of plus, especially the Upper Peninsula. But yeah, Michigan's really nice. I don't mind it at all. Mostly because of battery. He knows a lot of companies had to increase the size. Yep, no, that's great. Well, and I guess my question is it finally? Maybe is it because of the HN3 or the HN Elite? Or maybe it was because they wanted to get into larger batteries because that's just capacity equals longer run times, right? Better screen on times. I don't know. Maybe that's part of it, and they just kind of went with it. I don't necessarily know if they went with larger batteries just because of 8 Elite or just because they were going to make them bigger and they just had a better chipset.
On that note, fam, what's really frustrating, I think it's an EU thing. So the Magic 7 Pro, the China model has a bigger battery than what the one in UK and Europe has, which is really frustrating because I think it kind of needs that little bit of extra battery. But I think there's some regulations to do in the EU that you have to have a smaller battery. I don't know. There's probably hurdles you have to jump over. So they just thought, you know what, forget that.
Like I said, I am a little bummed about the fact that the modem's still a Samsung modem. Although I don't think Samsung makes bad modems. I think
they're not great.
They're not great, but they're not horrible. But like I said, I was hoping maybe it was like the entire chipset with the the processor and the modem and everything would be a TSMC or a different build.
It's been a big problem on Pixels recently. I mean, when
mhm.
I go to the farm, my Pixels in the past are constantly searching, and now other phones it does drain battery, but the Pixel, man, it does run a bit hot and it drains quick when it's searching like that for connection. The modem's pants.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, that is a little disconcerting, a little bummer. I agree with Michael. I think that kind of sucks. Maybe we'll get some improvements out of maybe it's a better processor. I mean, remember, modem, maybe it's not too bad, but yeah, I've had some issues. I haven't had so many issues with connectivity on like cellular. My problems with my Pixel has been with whatever earbuds I connect to it. I get this random disconnect. I cannot. The only thing that works is a headset. Like I have my Microsoft Surface headphones. Those work okay. And I had issues with the Pixel Buds. I had a Pixel Buds A series. I tried to buy these Sonys. The Sonys.
Pixel Buds, you think that would work well?
Yeah, and the Sonys. Maybe it's my unit. I don't know, but I'll get like 5 or 6 minutes in, and it will disconnect and then reconnect, and it's like it happens all the time.
Maybe get into developer mode and have a little look at the Bluetooth settings.
Maybe, but like I said, it's but if I have my Duo, when I had my Razer, when I had my LG Wing, Samsung, when I had my Fold, never had a problem with it. Don't have a problem. And even my OnePlus Tab, right? I got my OnePlus Pad, right? Which has been a really good tablet, by the way. Actually, it got hijacked by Becky. She was watching videos with it, so actually, it's got a lot of use. It's really good. I've had a lot of good experience with. Yeah, this is nice. I mean, I got the little folio case. It's green. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I really dig it. So, anyway, but I just noticed that on the Bluetooth on my Pixel 9 Pro XL is not very good. It really struggles.
Interesting. Michael Peppertech says it's the opposite to me, really. He says he's found the 8 Elite really good on the S25 Ultra.
Well, isn't that the 8 Elite on the Ultra? Isn't it like a 8 Elite for Samsung? Is there a little tweaking on that? Is it? Or is it
it is. Yeah, it is slightly overclocked. But I mean, I was saying a minute ago that I think that the 24 Ultra was better battery life. But you're saying the opposite. It's so funny. It must be use case.
It could be, or it could be just your device. I think that I've had issues with my Pixel Pro XL on the Bluetooth just because maybe it's the device is a little wonky. I don't know. Like I said, when I use regular over-the-ear when I use my Surface headphones, I don't have any disconnects, and it really, really works out pretty slick. It actually is really nice. But on earbuds, and I've tried a couple of different ones, it just doesn't work great. That's all. It's okay. Let's see. Problem with 8 leads after 20 minutes of stressing and it drops. Right. Haven't seen any tests since updates. Yeah. So, I mean, again, if you're stressing it, you're probably either doing Lightroom, or you're doing some kind of video editing, or you're playing a lot of gaming. And maybe 20 minutes. Yeah, if you're really pushing that processor.
So that goes back to what Michael was saying about the 8 Gen 3 being more efficient.
Right.
So it's more sustained.
It's not like the PC world where every single time you update a new CPU, you get better frame rates. So yeah. Again, it's kind of hit or miss, right? With these mobile processors, you go to 888, and then you go to the Gen 1, and the Gen 2, and the Gen 3, and then now the E Elite. And at some point, I'm wondering how good these processors really can be, right? And how much are you really paying for those? And I do like the fact that at least when it comes to, I like the fact that now the mid-range market has a really compelling use case and really argument for folks who don't want to spend a whole lot of money, right? So you've got a lot of people who, maybe don't want to buy. I'm glad that they have the Moto Razr Elite or X or Ultra or Super or whatever, but the fact that they have the Plus and they have the regular Razr, those are really still good devices. I mean, and you don't have to spend $12.99 or $10.99. You can get a good phone, or the Honor for folks in the UK who can get the Honor 400 Pro, or who can get an Oppo, a mid-ranger, right? And then, or you can get the OnePlus 13T or the 13R and really have a pretty good experience, right? You actually do okay.
Well,
Yeah, you have some compromises in camera and maybe some features, but for the most part, I mean, you don't have to spend $1,100 to get a pretty good phone. Now you can spend 500-600 and still get a pretty
I'm saying
cracking
that that OnePlus was looking at a couple of weeks back that you
yeah.
brought up, for example, that looked really good, but sadly that's not global. So
No,
frustrating.
the 13T.
Mm,
Yeah. I was gonna say, man, the 13T looks like a really cool phone. Like
mm.
I mean, if this came in the United
I don't
States,
like the fact that it looks like a Pixel Fold as a slab, though.
yeah, I'm not a fan of the housing and I'm not a fan of the camera, but I am a fan of the A to
See,
leaf.
I
I'm a
like this
fan of
camera housing.
6,260 milliamp battery with an 80-watt fast charge. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Like I can be okay with that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
100-watt charging on the 400 Pro,
Right.
50-watt wireless, I think, top of my head. Now an interesting thing, Sam, you can do
Mhm.
reverse sorry, reverse wired charging.
That's
Only
cool, man.
5
That I
watts,
like.
but you could reverse charge your buds, for example. Good use case.
Yeah, no. I mean, and I've gone to GSM Arena and kind of looked at the 400 Pro, and it looks like a pretty cool phone. Like
Yeah.
if this was available in the US, I would take a swing. And like I said, again, for me, I realize that it's not a Huawei. I realize that Honor but for me, I could be. It has the same pedigree as a Huawei device, and like I said, I think the Honors look pretty good. I don't
Mm.
like the fact that the top of it looks kind of like an iPhone with the housing.
Do you think?
I mean, yeah, I think so. I think well,
Reminds
it's
me
got a
reminds
little.
me of Huawei. Reminds me of Huawei.
Yeah, it's a Huawei, but it's still got looks like almost like a dynamic island, and it's like you can
Well,
clearly tell that.
the 7 Pro is bigger because it's got the
Right.
time of flight in there, and that looks slightly more iPhone-ish. But when
Yeah.
you actually put them next to iPhone, you see the difference.
Right. Like I said, I don't even, and like I said, I'm usually not a fan of like the camera housings being a little different, but actually on the 400 Pro, I think the camera housing looks pretty sharp. I think it's a pretty nice, it looks like a thin phone. It looks really
Mm.
nice. I mean, like I said, I'd like to give it a try. Honestly, if I knew it could work on AT&T, I wouldn't mind picking one of these up and trying to
Yeah.
see if I can use it.
So, do you want me to say the negatives?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the things you don't like.
I mean, it's early days, yeah, but so it's a plastic frame, not a deal
Okay.
breaker for me, but that's where obviously they've saved some money to get it to the price point. Like I rock a case anyway. Curved screen, like I say, it's a curved screen, but it's very subtle, and once you got a case, it's not really that noticeable.
Right.
Now, one thing I found with a 7 Pro, I haven't tested the camera much on this so much, but I suspect it'd be similar, is when it hits, it's really great. But sometimes the AI is a bit too heavy.
Okay.
So like, I was testing my, and this will sound strange, the S25 Ultra versus the Magic 7 Pro, and some shots I felt the Sammy was much more natural looking, which I didn't
Oh,
think I'd be saying. But like I say, that when it hits really good, and the shots are beautiful. You don't get raw other than on pro mode and only with the main lens, and that's
right.
a bit frustrating. But I'm a point and shoot guy anyway, so I don't mind too much. I told you about the fingerprint scanner being a bit low down. That annoys me a little bit.
Yeah, I like it being more in that. I kind of like the positioning of the. I mean, in the fingerprint scanner on the Pixel, it's kind of like right in this middle, kind of third right here.
It's good
Yeah,
location.
I think that's pretty good. I think I don't like the low ones. Although I don't know how you hold your phone. I kind of hold it like this, like with my pinky, kind of like holding.
So you rest it
So
on
usually I'm kind of
yeah.
in the right. So when I
Yeah,
have
and then
my phone, and I pick it up, I'm okay. Oh, I can't do this. This is so stupid. Whatever. See how where it's at right here? It's in this middle. Like I'm okay with
hey,
if
Specky.
this. Yeah, if it's this low, I'm okay with it being low. I can get to this point.
Don't get me wrong.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, it's
but
not,
I do prefer it up a little higher. For me, I've never had a real fight with
natural.
it when it's really super low like that. I've never had a problem with that because of the way when I pick up a phone, how I have it in my hand. And plus, probably the face unlock's probably really pretty good on it, right?
So my SIM's in the S25 Ultra now, though, Sam,
Okay.
because I wanted to. And obviously, the one thing I missed straight away is that face unlock on the 7 Pro, Magic 7 Pro, because, man, being able to unlock it in the dark with your face is great. And your banking apps, like, it's authenticated stuff before you even know. It's just bang, done. I love it. I do.
Yeah.
That's something I miss. I mean, the face unlock's okay on the Samsung, but
Right.
having that time of flight on there, it reminds me of the Pixel 4 XL.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, if they ever have it on a OnePlus, I think that's a lot of reason why I think a lot of people. I would like to see a OnePlus device that has a desktop mode or
dude, I've got to tell you a story.
Yeah.
Right, today, this little old dear comes in, right, with a OnePlus 13, right, and her husband's OnePlus 13, and says they're rubbish, right, and then she gets out of her bag a Samsung A26 and goes, "This is her husband's new phone. Can I sort it out?"
That shit's rubbish.
And I was like stunned. I'm like, these phones are much better in every single way than that A26. But you know what? For his use case, maybe not though, because I think he got a bit confused. There was a 6-digit pin on the OnePlus that the old man had, and she didn't know what it was. She rung him up. He didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So it was just locked out. And I said to him, I said, if I had the money, I'd buy this off you right now.
Right.
I said, shit. It's madness.
Yeah. Well, like I said, not everybody knows exactly what's going on all the time, so it's okay.
I was so intrigued though. I said, where do you get these from?
Right.
Because they're not a carrier.
Right.
So
So
the guy's researched maybe. Now the guy's 90. So the guy's researched and found that they're quite good devices and took the plunge.
Right.
It's just so random, right?
Yeah. A's asking Sam a random question. I know you love sports, but who do you think is better than Michael Jordan? Nobody. Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player that's ever lived. You can fight me. You can argue. I know LeBron. I know Kobe. I get it. Again, I grew up, and maybe for folks who are younger, they didn't actually watch Michael Jordan play live. There was nobody on earth that could command a basketball game and will teams to win, and just had he did everything incredibly. Defense, offense, shooting, his mindset, his approach to the game. I understand that everybody's got, again, Kobe's great. There's a lot of great players. I understand. And then that.
Remember, he led the Looney Tunes as well.
So, right. Yeah, he did Space Jam, because that's the thing. Like I said, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm not really a huge basketball fan. I mean, I like basketball, NBA, don't get me wrong, but we don't have a team in St. Louis, so it's I don't really follow the NBA. To me, watching basketball over the years I watch, Michael Jordan is not even close. He's the greatest player of all time. it's to me, it's not even close. I don't even want to, and I've watched a lot of basketball. I've watched Shaq and Shaquille, and Kobe and LeBron. I've watched a lot of basketball players, and nobody to me just completely dominated the entire sport for a decade. I know LeBron did a good job. I'd say he's probably number 2. But
I've seen some footage of LeBron and
yeah, dude, but no, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player ever. Period. Full stop. And I'm not even gonna. You can fight me. You can argue. That's cool. Your opinion's valid. To me, he's the GOAT by far. It's not even close. So anyway, that's just kind of how that goes. Well, let's see. Oh, I love it. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the G8. So I got my wing. I pull that out. The only reason I don't use a wing very often is because the battery is just really. It's, as Joe would say, the battery is pants. I guess that's bad, right? So it's just not very good. And I don't like fingerprint sensors as a rule either. I wish they would kind of. I like the Soli radar on the Pixel 4 series. I like face unlock. I don't need it to
That's it
be
all day.
I don't need it to be military grade, scan your face, that kind of thing. It doesn't have to be Face ID, but
Oh, I don't
but
know,
yeah.
Sam. Once you've tried it, it's nice.
Oh, dude, I have yeah,
Mm.
I have a iPhone. I use it
Yeah.
every day for work.
No, on an
And
Android device though.
oh yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, no, I mean, a Face ID is great. I just,
Mm.
I'm not a big fan of, and if I do have a fingerprint reader, I still like having, I liked having the razor where I had the I still like capacitive readers, or I'm even okay with bringing back the rear fingerprint reader. I miss those. I mean, when you take it out of your pocket, just kind of go, your phone's right there. For me, you just go.
For
Boop.
me,
Yeah,
Sony implement it best on the
yeah,
side.
yeah. I agree. See, honestly, I don't like the thing. Yeah, OnePlus is a great little ecosystem. If you need a phone,
I
tablet,
agree, 100%.
Yep. Yep, I think so.
Very
I
good.
mean, again, I purposely didn't buy, and everybody's like, "Well, why didn't you buy a Pixel tablet?" I said because one, the OnePlus Pad was pretty good, and I got it for very cheap. And the gentleman who sold it to me actually gave me the case, and it was really nice, dude. And the folio is really really slick. I love my OnePlus Pad. Like I know it's older, right? I know it's a couple years old, but man, I really dig this thing. I've had really a lot of good experience with it, and again, I'm not new to OnePlus. I've had the OG OnePlus. I had a 3T, a 5T, 6, 7, 9, 8, all of them. Right? I had a 12. The last one has the 12. I love
had the
OnePlus.
12. I love the 12. I've got the watch and it's beautiful. I was very tempted to get the Pad 2, but the Pad 3 looks quite decent. I haven't seen a video yet myself yet though. Shall I tell you what? Who has got a good ecosystem as well? Again, not just because I'm not on a hero hat.
Yeah.
Honor's pretty good.
Yeah. Do I NFL? Yes, I NFL.
That's a sore point for people in St. Louis, though, right?
Yeah, well, because they moved back to LA. I don't care. I've been a Bears fan for my whole life, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, the NFL, the Rams thing, it's for a lot of people in St. Louis, the Rams are really kind of a sore spot. But it's cool. I get it. It's no big deal. But yeah, I do NFL, and actually look, maybe the Bears might have a good season this year. I don't know. Probably not. It's the Bears. Fuck them, But and I know. Shout out to Viper. I know he's a big, huge Chicago Bears fan. He lives in Chicago, obviously. So I've never lived in Chicago. I've been up there a lot, but yeah, I've been a Bears fan my whole life, and so yeah, I do NFL. Did you say $836? You can get a better device for that price. Getting a Pixel 8 renewed, or in your area, or an Honor or Vivo, Xiaomi, or an IQ with the 5. Yeah, I agree.
Dude, it was an A26.
Oh, it's an A26, even worse, right? Yes, I do like the NFL. I absolutely do. Hey, Jason's in chat. No, it's a little late. No, that's okay. Jason, hey man, we appreciate you swinging on through. I know you got a lot of stuff going on with the family and everything. So, man, thanks for coming by. I appreciate you as always.
Yeah, he's daddy again.
One thing I miss about the AirPod Air is no Face ID. On a phone, it doesn't get money. Yeah, I can't believe the AirPod Air doesn't have Face ID. I would have thought that. I mean, maybe it's a cost cutting perspective. I don't know, but I thought the AirPod Air, the iPad would have Face ID.
Sam, the biggest miss for me is the iPad Air being thicker than the iPad Pro.
yeah, that's kind of weird.
It's like,
okay,
isn't the Air supposed to be the thin one?
Right. Yeah, and I'm not on the board with the Kansas City Chiefs. I know they're the same, Super Bowl champs, and everybody loves them, and Kansas City this and the Chiefs that. But I think it's funny because I love my friends. I have a couple of friends, and they really are Chiefs fans, and they've been Chiefs fans since like I was kids, like in the '80s. And for any, yeah,
please try something here.
Yeah,
Michael said when he thinks of Oni, he thinks of Klingons. Can you do your best the Klingon impression?
I don't have a Klingon impression.
Oh
man, I don't even speak Klingon. I don't even know what it is. It's terrible, right? Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, everybody like in St. Louis now we have a team. Everybody's a big Kansas City Chiefs fan. But I remember when the Kansas City Chiefs were terrible. Like they fucking sucked. Like they were awful. And I had friends of mine who were like diehard Chiefs fans, and they were like terrible back in the days. Now I'm glad they're popular again. I'm just not a Chiefs fan. I don't really like Kansas City generally as a rule. I've been there a couple times. It's an okay city.
I saw a game, didn't I?
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah. And
I don't know what game it was.
It's from California, and the Raiders moved. Well, Well, you got a lot of teams. You got LA. That's probably the Raiders moved because the Rams came back. If the Rams would have stayed in St. Louis, you probably wouldn't have. You'd still have the Raiders, right? Or who knows? Maybe they go where the money's at. And Las Vegas and Nevada, and that they got now they got the Raiders. They're trying to get a baseball team. I think probably the Rockies are going to move to LA or to Las Vegas at some point. Las Vegas is a huge city, right? So a lot of these major sports teams are going. They have the Golden Knights. They've got the Raiders. They just need, they need a football. They need a hockey team and a basketball team. I don't know what team in the NBA would move to Vegas. Who knows? We'll see. But Vegas is a huge city and they're growing and they got a lot of sports presence. So we'll see how it goes.
You know what? The Klingon phone sounds good.
A Klingon phone. That would be cool. At the bottom with the little logo on the back. It'd light up. That would be kind of cool. Like, I'm not a huge Star Trek fan. I like Star Trek, but I wouldn't call myself a Trekkie or a Star Wars. Like, I will go to the conventions. I like the movies. Actually, the funny thing is, I'm kind of weird about Star Trek. I like Deep Space Nine. A lot of people didn't like the Deep Space Nine show. I really like the show. I really like the Captain Sisko and the space station. I kind of digged it. I don't know. A lot of people think
I'm currently watching it on and off because I never watched it when it was on. I watched Next Generation. That was my thing.
Oh, well, yeah, everybody does. But like I said, when I mentioned the fact that I kind of like Deep Space Nine, it was like practically, people got like up in arms about like, oh, Deep Space Nine sucks. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's because since I'm not such a huge Star Trek fan, as far as like a Trekkie, I liked it. I thought Deep Space Nine was enjoyable to watch. I liked them all. I liked Voyager. I liked them all. I think they were kind of enjoyable. To me, it's just television. Like, I don't really care about it, but
I only really watched Next Generation, right? So Picard and Wolf and all that. But yeah, I'm enjoying Deep Space Nine, and I'm going to watch Voyager next after that.
Yeah, and poor Tony's a Cleveland Browns fan. The Browns have been bad, and even before they moved out of Cleveland, and they came back to Cleveland, they just not been very good. I would hope that the Cleveland Browns would actually get pretty good because I like seeing teams that don't have a really, especially in Cleveland, that's a huge football. It's like the Buffalo Bills. Like, they're a huge American football team, city. The Cleveland's huge on football. They love the Browns, and they just aren't very good. And they haven't been for a while. They've made some playoff appearances and thought they would have it. But, yeah, so we'll see. But, yeah, they got a lot of stuff in Ohio going on. Yeah, I think, again, I agree with Michael. I love Deep Space Nine. I love that show. It's my friend once told me the Raiders are a ghetto team. Okay. I don't think they're a ghetto team. I think what happened was, remember, the Raiders were in Oakland, and I know a lot of in cultural, like definitely in the early 90s and cultural approaches to the Raiders were kind of like bad boys, and they were kind of gangsters, and they were kind of, Al Davis owned the team and everything else and all that shit. And so I know a lot of people really got pissed off because they were a lot of people in LA, right? The Oakland area and that Southern California, that, the Raiders was like a gang thing. And, and I think that's where it comes from. I do think that also the culture of the team was really driven by their owner, who was kind of a renegade. Al Davis was kind of a, slicked hair, glasses, he looked like a pimp, right? The Raiders were kind of known as like these outlaw renegades. They would like out Lyle Alzado in the 80s, and guys would like break legs and kill people and shit. So the Raiders have kind of been kind of the bad boy, and of course their fans kind of leaned into that, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's one of those things. So I wouldn't call it a ghetto team, and now they're in Las Vegas. So clearly I don't think that's the same thing anymore. It's just what's going on. So especially with the Ron Ferengi against the Ferengi. Yeah, man, it's a great show. Like we had O'Brien, you had the Ferengi, you had Dax. It was cool. Like I like the dynamic, right? I just like the whole, and it was just a pretty good show. I think it's funny because you mentioned Trek fans about Deep Space Nine, they look at you like you're crazy. Like, I thought it was a pretty good show.
So I like O'Brien. And the episode I just recently watched is where he's playing like squash, but like a more high tech version of squash against the Doctor.
And
Pretty
Guido's
cool.
in Buffalo, yeah, man. The Bills are great, dude. Josh Allen's awesome, and the Bills. I mean, hell, I mean, I love the Bills. I think they're, I wish they would actually can get over the hump and get past Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. I would like to see the Bills go to AFC Championship and win it, and try to go to the Super Bowl and win one. I think they'd be pretty good. So, do I jump on tables? That's what Bills fans do when they tailgate, right? I don't know if they jump on tables. That's kind of wild, especially if they're folding. That might be dangerous. You might break your fucking neck. I don't know. I'd like to go. I love tailgating. I know they don't have anything like that in the UK, right? For like football matches in the UK. Do you know what tailgating is, right?
No,
I guess
not
that's
a clue.
okay. So so tailgating in the United States would be is everybody before the match. Essentially, think about this. So again, maybe tailgating is a problem because in the UK, not everybody has a pickup truck. And the tailgate is the part of the pickup truck that comes down, right? It opens up so you can get to the bed of the truck. It's called the tailgate, right? So in American sports, mostly in NFL, but I guess you could technically tailgate and Major League Baseball. It's kind of weird, but you could. So for football teams, you get there early. You get into the parking lot of the sports event, right? Because NFL games start at noon and usually at 3:00, right? Usually. So you would get there early on a Sunday, and then you would open up your tailgate, and you would bring out your grill, or you'd have beers, you have coolers and shit, and everybody's sitting there in their parking lot, and they basically parking lot have parties. So when you get there, everybody be basically either getting drunk or eating food and ribs and barbecue and snacks and tents and shit, and everybody just basically parties and shit until they go into the game, and that's what tailgating is. So I don't do. So when you go to a football match in the UK, is there any pregame stuff? Do they do anything in the parking lot? Do they do anything? Or you just go in the match and chant and yell and scream and call everybody a fucking cunt, and then 90 minutes later you go home? And like, what's going? Do they have anything like that in the UK where they have like a?
British culture is to go in a pub.
Right. So a pub. Right.
Yeah.
Not right. Okay.
Is there congregating near a pub somewhere?
Right. Do they have pubs near the pitches, like the stadiums and stuff, or do they?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, them sort of pubs still survive because of the fact that the trade's still there. But yeah,
Okay.
a lot of pubs have died off, which is sad. The pub trade is tough,
Right?
Because the prices of beer has gone up so much.
So what was like?
Whoop. I think Sam's internet's playing up. Now he's gone out to do some tailgating.
Right.
Can you hear me,
Hopefully
Sam?
that'll work okay.
Yeah, he's back. You're back.
I don't know. Am I back? I don't know.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
You are.
So like I said, when was the last time you went to Arsenal for an actual match at home?
A long time ago, actually. Yeah, I don't really get to go to games anymore. I would like to. It's not easy to get tickets for a start. It's quite pricey as a second thing. Do you know what? The women's team won the Champions League this year.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we beat.
Is that a thing in the UK? The women's leagues and stuff? Did they? I mean, obviously, I think the popularity probably isn't the same as the men, but do they?
No,
do
okay? The women's game is growing massively. We beat Barcelona, and we was huge underdogs. We wasn't expected to beat them. To put it in perspective, Barcelona had absolutely battered Chelsea, who won. I think they won the league, the WSL, in the UK. Barcelona absolutely battered them in the semis. So we was huge underdogs, but yeah, we won it. 1-0. It was a great performance.
That's
very
cool.
Good performance.
Good deal.
I was really proud of the women.
So they don't have any kind. So basically, they wouldn't do it in the parking lot. They would just go to the pub and drink, and then go to the match, and then do they?
Yeah. So generally, yeah.
I think we need to start. I think we need to start tailgating. I think that's what we need to do. We need to start tailgating the UK. That's what we need.
Yeah, in our boot, get in the boot of our car,
and we'll call it boot gating. Yeah, boot and yeah, right. And like I said, we'll do all that. Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a car boot sale?
A car, yeah, like a trunk sale where you put a bunch of. It's like a.
Yeah,
Well, I think it
trunk
was like a
sale.
flea
Yeah,
market. We call it like a flea market, right? Where you basically people have a bunch of stuff they're trying to sell from their
yeah,
home, right?
that's
Cast
it.
ends, and they put like a tables. Yeah, we call we in the United States call them flea markets, right? So you basically put a table up,
Outside
maybe a
thrift
couple.
shop.
Right, basically an outside pop up
Yeah.
market where you basically sell all your garbage, right? And that's kind of cool. And
Ju-
sometimes you can
You
find some
say
pretty good
garbage
shit on.
though, but some people don't know that they've got something of value and they're selling it off for cheap, and you're like, yes.
Right, exactly. That's what you got to be careful of, right? So you
Yeah,
gotta know what you're kind of selling. So,
yeah,
but yeah,
exactly.
it's fun. Kind of get a, but yeah, we call them flea markets, or you might hear it like refers to a swap meet, right? You hear swap meets all the time, right? So we're really people aren't swapping anything; they're really just kind of like buying shit. But yeah, I mean it's
I know
kind
a
of
guy who,
interesting,
like trades toys, right? And he goes to the car boots to get them cheap because they
right?
obviously don't know the value of them. And then he goes to things like Comic Con and stuff like that, and
Right.
different conventions to sell like old toys. It's pretty
Oh,
cool.
yeah, people do a pretty good job. I mean, you can make a lot of money doing that kind of shit.
Yeah,
So
yeah, definitely. If you know what you're looking for.
yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, some of those people, I think, obviously it's one of those things where if you know what's going on, if you know, right, you kind of know what's going on. But
Mm.
but yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, well, we need to set that up. We need to have boot. We have to have boot stuff. Oh, hey, look,
Wait a minute,
best
Sam.
viewers on the test boot. I love that. Yeah.
Talking of knickknacks, last week you started looking at a pot near your table, a random pot of stuff. Do you want to show everyone what you've got in this pot?
Oh, okay. So wait, are you talking about this thing? Okay.
Yeah.
So right underneath, so this is underneath my. Well, first of all, it would be like right kind of here underneath my
Now, everyone's
monitor.
got a drawer or a pot like this, I'd
Right.
say.
Maybe, yeah, like I said. So it's one of those things. So I got one of those, right? And so I put a bunch of stuff in it. And what I have is my little Game and Watch, my little Zelda. I like this. And the reason why I like it too is because what's kind of nice about the Zelda is you get the Adventures of Link, right? You get a couple games on here. It's actually pretty cool, right? You get the Adventures of Link, which I don't really a huge fan of. And then you got
The
the
platform game.
you have like the
Mm.
this was like the Game Boy version Zelda. Remember the old Game Boy Zelda? So you get 3 of them, and it was like $50. And it's got the little Triforce in the back, the little charger. It's kind of cool.
Cute.
Yeah, it's cute. And then here I have a little like a metal tin, right, where I've got stuff. So first thing in here is I have a USB-C dongle. I keep that in there handy.
What brand is that one?
I have no idea. I have no clue. It doesn't say. I don't know. I got it from years ago. And I got a little screwdriver, a little Phillips head screwdriver. You never know when you need one of those. The little USB A to USB C converter from Google. Got that. I have this barrel key. All right, this is a barrel key. It was supposed to be for the arcade game downstairs. Doesn't fit. They said this is. I just kept it because I don't know. Stored in here, right? And then I've got another dongle, but this is a Lightning dongle. The only person in my home now who has an iPhone that would use this is my daughter Anna. She has a 13 Pro Max, so I have this. Haven't needed it, but it's there. Let's see. I've got various level stem tools. That one. I got the circle one, right? The circle.
That's Pixel, right? That one.
I think so. I don't know. Then I've got this one. This is, I think, a Samsung.
That's Samsung.
Right?
Yep.
Yep, Samsung. And then I've got another one of the oval ones, right? I have an earring. I have no idea. It's one of my girls. I just picked it up off the floor and threw it in here.
What is that on it? Does it say something on it?
No, it's just it's like a pearl or opal. It's just I don't know. It doesn't even have the hook on it anymore. So I don't know. Nobody's asked me for it in 5 years, but I kept it anyway. And then I have 2 SIM cards. I have on the AT&T one from an old phone. I think I have 2.
That's
AT&T
a dead SIM, right?
It's a dead SIM. This is an old. I kept them because sure, right. And then the last thing in here, other than the dust, which I'll dump the dust out, is an SD card. This is when I had this for my oh Jesus Christ, I'm having a break. When I had my Moto, the Moto G stylus, it had I threw a little 64. I bought a 1 terabyte when I put that in my my Switch. I'm using that on my Switch. So that's it. And I've got so all this stuff just sits in this little metal little tray.
As random as that is, Sam, I would argue that probably everyone's got a drawer or pot or tray or something with similar bits and bobs in.
Everybody's got that. And then of course the last thing that's in there is always the
Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, Swiss Army knife. I got a little thing. Right, I keep this handy.
It's authentic Swiss because it has a Swiss flag on it.
Right, it's made out of real Swiss people. Right,
yeah.
The knife. Right, I did lose. I do still have the toothpick that's in there. But the tweezer part, I lost. The tweezer part is on the other side. I lost that years ago. I have no idea where it went. I keep
probably
this
in a pot somewhere else in the house.
Probably in another pot somewhere else in the house. And then I've got these cool. What they are essentially is they're coasters, like so they're like ceramic, right? Got a St. Louis Cardinal one. It's nice. I like Cardinals one. And I got St. Louis Blues one. And then what else I got? I still got this one. You'll love this, mate. The Across the Pond cast. Love that. I kept that. I actually forgot I even had these. I saw the box of shit. And then I've got that. And of course, my cheese balls.
Of course.
Mom.
Yeah.
And of course, I got my cheese balls over there. My head's the various, and then that's Mom. That's Mom in the box, right? So we got Mom in the box. She hangs out with me. Whatever, man. I don't give a fuck. Anyway,
stick your cheese balls on top of your mom list.
Right? Yeah. Well, and then I've got it's a golf ball coffee mug. I just put a bunch of shit in it. It's like pens, eyeglass cleaner.
What was? I was going to
actually,
say, what is that?
This is an HP. So my work computer is an HP.
Okay,
it's actually
it looks quite slick.
It's an Elite book, with the folds over folio. I kept it. I never use it. Sharpie, that kind of thing. What else do I got over here? Oh, still got my Mi Band. Kept that. It's dead though. What else is on this goddamn desk? What the hell? I got one of these. This is when I got. Everybody knows if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you'll know I work for the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. They gave us these little things a year, 100 years. So it was 2014. It's nice. It's got the little logo of our bank, right? It's got a little logo, right? It's kind of cool. Federal Reserve Bank in St. Louis. They gave us when I first that was my first year at the bank. It's 2014. I happened to get one of these, and they gave it to us. I keep it on my desk. And that's really about it. I don't have anything else. Everything else is kind of like meh. But yeah, I have this little tray, and of course, obviously, I've gone through my drawers before with my phones and all that. Yeah. So,
we've been down your drawers.
Yeah, we've been down my drawers before. We don't need to go through the drawers. And I got one of these little things. It just holds your phone, little plastic. It's a little phone holder.
Quite neat.
Yeah, you just put your phone in there. So it's on my desk. A lot of times I put my bank phone there or my work phone if I'm working and stuff like that, and that's it. I mean, that's what it is in my glasses.
Sam, have you put Android 16?
Yeah, beta, I actually. Beta. Matter of fact, yesterday the other day I got I guess it was beta. It said beta 1.
Yeah, I got beta 1.
Yeah,
sure and I thought 3 was out now, but
and I do like this, but I also noticed I guess I got the messages update. But if you look at the messages, like the logos, they're a lot bigger and a lot more colorful on the on Messages app. So yeah, I've been using it pretty nice. I actually like Material U, the Material 3 or whatever it is. It's actually pretty good. I've been it's subtle rollouts, but I've been impressed by it. I mean, I don't know. You almost sound like you're disappointed in it about having to sell it.
No, I haven't used it. I mean, it's a brilliant phone. 4XL, 4XL, the 9 Pro XL. It's a brilliant phone. I just gravitate to other stuff now.
Right.
I couldn't say there's actually anything wrong with this. The camera's pretty decent. I guess the modem thing is a bit of a problem.
Right.
I just gravitate to other things. And I shouldn't have bought it. I should never have bought it.
Right.
But I'm a sucker.
Well, that's okay. I'm sure you'll be able to sell that and get a couple dollars out of it. So, yeah. Good.
I think one thing I really like, Sam, the other day. So when I made the content plan and presented it to the Honor guy, I sent it to Dan first on Telegram on my phone. I said, have a look at this. What do you think? Just as a message. And then I copied it, and I saw on my laptop it said it was free to paste there. So I pasted it onto the plan that I was making, so I didn't have to retype it again. But literally copied on the phone and just pasted onto the tablet. That's decent, isn't it?
Yeah, they're both Honor devices. That's kind of
cool.
No,
this is Samsung. Because I got I told you I got a Samsung laptop, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Book Edge 4 for 620 quid. I was pretty pleased with that.
No, not at all. That's a pretty good deal.
Especially now I can cut and paste.
Right. It's pretty good.
Quite a nice little feature. Like, ecosystems are getting good now.
Right. Yeah, man. I mean, I like I said, I agree with earlier with Michael Pepper, his chat about the OnePlus. The ecosystem is really good if you get like the phone and you get the tablet and you get the watch and you get the earbuds. Dude, I think OnePlus has got it going on. I really wish they would have taken off in the US. I think that would have been a really solid competitor with Samsung and Google in the US. I really, really wish that OnePlus was more of a US brand as far as the Android space. It really kind of depresses me because they're really.
What do you think was the downfall? What would think?
Carriers. It's just the carriers didn't push the devices, and people did. I don't really think people even equate OnePlus phones to a Chinese brand. I don't think that they may know Huawei just because it's been socialized in the media and stuff. OnePlus and Xiaomi and all that kind of thing. But the problem is the carriers. It really came down to all they really push is either Apple or Samsung. Yeah. They allow Google to exist. They allow Microsoft.
Do they run off commission or?
I think, I don't know, maybe AT&T they do. I don't know, but it's just one of those things where nobody had the phone. So when you come into the store, it really depended on the service person you're talking to, the salesperson, right? Yeah. If they were an Android guy or an iPhone guy or a Samsung person or whatever, a Pixel. I mean, I remember walking into one of the AT&T stores and I mentioned that about a Pixel, and somebody was asking about, what kind of phone should I get? Because they were upgrading from an older Samsung device. They were going to get another Samsung, but they goes, hey, what else is available? And I mentioned, well, you got the Pixel. At that point, I think it was the 7A was out, or the 7 Pro, or even the 7, right? And I said, well, the Pixel 7s are pretty good, and they're pretty affordable. And the salesperson behind the counter, wasn't the salesperson, it was like a manager or a salesperson behind the queue or the counter. It was like, oh, man, Pixels are garbage. They suck. I would never buy a Pixel. I had such problems with them. Blah, blah. And so you're like, it's one of those things where it depends on the salesperson. And most salespeople like Samsung, like Apple, and that's it. That's all they've used. They've never had a Moto. They've never had a OnePlus. They've never had a Google Pixel. And if they did, they had it for 25 minutes and they hated it because of insert reason there. And then that was it. And then so when you have people coming in, they're asking the salesperson, they don't know what's good. They don't watch reviews. They don't watch you and I. They don't listen to these podcasts. They don't watch Marquez Brownlee, or they don't go on internet, YouTube, tech YouTube, and look at shit. And that's probably 85% of the people who buy a phone at a store. And it just depends on what if they got a and also too, it really kind of depends. If they're a longtime Samsung user, it's very hard for them to switch to an iPhone. Well, I think it's easier for people to go for phone. And I know there's some other YouTube creators that kind of say, hey, well, yeah, people are switching they're getting off iPhone, they're going to Android. I said, maybe if they're 40, but anybody between the ages of 15 and 30, they're all using iPhones in the United States. I mean, I think they said, what's the stat that between 15 and 24 or 15 and 23, 80% of young people are using an iPhone or will use an iPhone at some point. They will be getting an iPhone. That's just what it is. And I just think OnePlus's problem was they just could not crack through the carriers, and they weren't on AT&T. They weren't on They were on T-Mobile. But that was it. They were on Verizon. I mean, they just did not have, and then they didn't, and they didn't really market anything, right? They didn't put advertisements out there. They didn't sell the United States. They kind of half-ass came to the American market. And if you're going to come in to the U.S.,
launch in the U.S., you need to go hard. Don't you?
You have to go completely insane. You have to push all the chips in the middle. You have to have adverts. Like if nothing came to the U.S., they would have to put billboards and adverts and time of the Super Bowl. Put them in movie theaters, make people know it's a brand, show them the glyphs, all that shit. You would absolutely have to do that.
Give them a reason to buy.
And you have to stay on it no matter what. You have to stay on it for 5 years and just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And the problem is it requires a lot of...
Get them NBA stars with it.
Right. And I don't even think that does anything. I think you need to have people need to know that the brand exists. I mean, half the people I had a problem with the Microsoft Duo and the Surface Duo too on one was nobody knew it existed. I think if people know that it's out there, they probably won't buy it necessarily, but they may take a look at it and give it a try. And that takes a lot of money, a lot of energy, a lot of focus, a lot of dedication, and you have to be all in. And these companies just don't have the same level of interest. And in the United States, Android manufacturers other than Samsung have just given up on the market. That's why Xiaomi and Oppo and Vivo and Realme and IQ and all those, they're not coming here. They just aren't doing it. So
we tricked Jermaine. He thinks it's
I know. I know. It's not. It's Saturday. Robot Sam. No, this is real Sam. That's me. There's no robot Sam.
He's referring to a minute ago. You sort of did turn into a robot for a little while.
Anyway, yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was a good impression. See, his impressions are good. Just can't do Klingon.
Yeah, I can't do Klingon. Oh, if I practice it, I probably could do it. So, hi, real Sam. Hello, real Jermaine. How are you, sir? Thanks for swinging on by. Yeah, again, you have a OnePlus, like and the funny thing is, if you're a OnePlus user and you're walking through like in the stores or whatever, and you see somebody who has a OnePlus, you're like, oh, you're like it's like and then you look at him and they look and you go, it's kind of like Alfred and Batman when it's the Christian Bale Batman, they're looking at each other through the cafe after they and they're like kind of look at each other and he's like, yeah, if you know, you know. Yeah, that's kind of having a OnePlus is like that.
England played Andorra today, right? I bet you don't.
Andorra. They have a football team. Okay, yeah. Cool.
So
there's like 12 of them. How many people live in Andorra? Like 50 or 60?
Let me tell you the stats, and you can guess the score, right? Okay. So shots, Andorra had 4 to England's 20. Ooh. Shots on target, Andorra had 0 to England's 10. Mm-hmm. Possession, Andorra had 17% to England's 83%. Passes made, or maybe completed, I don't know, 152 to England's 751. What do you think the score was?
I would say 8-0.
You'd like to think it would be a bit more than what it was. 1-0. England 1, Andorra 0. That's a bit disappointing, really, when you read the stats.
How many shots on target?
10.
And you only got 1 goal out of 10 targets against Andorra's goalie? Yeah. Okay. If you have shots on target, I would think you'd have at least, and you have that many passes and that many shots and that time of possession, you'd have at least 5. You'd have at least 4 goals. At least 4, maybe 5.
We had 12 corners. We had 91% pass accuracy compared to their 57. And we only won 1-0.
Oh, man, that's going to be a long season, man. If you guys can't beat it, you should beat Andorra by at least 4 or 5 goals.
The thing is, it's a World Cup qualifier, so it's
nobody really
odds on to qualify anyway. Right. But it's disappointing, Ireland drew with Senegal as well.
The only brand I noticed when I worked at a store that people wanted next to iPhone were annoyed they couldn't was Huawei. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, and when they did the Huawei ban, like I said, it was hilarious because I think the Huawei, I can't remember which phone it was. It was actually gone into and technically, fun fact, if you actually look at AT&T's whitelist, the Huawei Ascend is still listed as an acceptable phone on AT&T's network. And I think the Ascend and the Ascend XT. But right, I think it was like the Mate 20 or one of those.
Sam.
It was going to literally be available at AT&T as a carrier offering, and it was at Best Buy. And literally 3 weeks before is when the ban, actually the entity list hit, and they pulled it. But I mean, it was like right there to be on AT&T, which is crazy.
Sam, the Pure RX?
Yeah.
Nice, cool. I could pick one up for 400 quid from someone.
Dude, I would buy that fucking phone.
I can't do it though. I can't do it because one, I'd have to get rid of this for a start, the Pixel. But if I could, I would. I really would love to.
Dude, I'm gonna send you $400 and you buy it and then just send it. Dude,
it's
for
that red, that red
yeah,
one.
Dude, the Pure X is awesome, dude. That phone was $400. I'd be buying it tomorrow.
I really want to, but I can't do it.
God almighty. Anyway,
While
I wonder.
Jermaine's here, we should advertise his recent videos. Are very good, very cinematic. If anyone
Right.
hasn't checked out his content,
Yeah.
go
Oh,
there right
Jermaine does.
now.
Yeah, absolutely. Go check them out. Go check him out. Make sure you check. And he does great content, folks. I mean, just anybody in this chat who, if you're not already following Jermaine, man, shame on you. And do this now. Like, get off this show. Stop listening to this show right now. Just hang up this podcast. Stop the stream. That who cares? And just go check him out and get him a like, give him a sub, show him some love, give him some feedback. Actually, tell him what you like about the video, what maybe you would wish to see in future videos. I think these creators. Listen. Yeah, Jermaine's very open to feedback and maybe some ideas. I mean, at the end of the day, we actually need to get Jermaine on the show. I know he's a very busy man. He's got a lot of stuff going on. We need to get him back on and see how it goes. But yeah, check out his channel, man. He does a great job. And he's fantastic. Huge fans. We are huge fans of Jermaine and all of the work he does. Like I said, check him out. And if you haven't, just go ahead and sub and give him some love. He deserves it. He's a proper chap, as they say.
All one word, screen on time, YT.
Yep.
Look at my rubbish videos as well, just to be kind.
We need to get 100. We need to get hundreds of likes and hundreds of views. Let's do it. It's actually a pretty good. I find it to be. I like watching. I think the minute long format's nice because you don't have to sit here and suffer through 15 or 20 minutes of a
really nice. I realize when I do a 2-minute unboxing, it's a bit much.
Right. No, I think it was really good. I also like the snap. It's kind of a neat little transition where you snap. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I could have done that. I could have executed that better. But like I said at the start of this, I was kind of rushing it, and my boo-boo was quite funny.
That's okay. I like it. It's fun. And you know what? Enjoy it, learn from it, grow, and develop your skills. Yeah. The only way you're going to get good at it is if you keep doing it. You just got to keep putting it out there and try the best you can. Yep.
That's what she said.
Yep. YouTube, Screen on Time, YT. Go check that out. Subscribe to it. Watch Joe's videos. He's got the shorts going on. Even if you're not into I watch a lot of videos on phones I'm really not probably ever going to buy or use, but I just think they're fun to watch. So check it out. Even if you're not looking for an Honor 400 Pro, it's a good time. Go check it out and tell me we sent you. That's okay. Again, like Joe had mentioned earlier, check out streamskins.co.uk. They got all the skins. You can do the thing what he's doing. You can get a TPU case, put a skin, and then put the case over the top if it's clear, and you get the same benefit, right? And if you don't want to, if you want to be a little bit more adventurous and you want to rock it without a case, cool. At least your back will be covered and get a couple different colors. And then, after a couple of months, you want to change it up, maybe look something nice. I would suggest, here's a trick, folks. Keep it on the pad. Like, don't take it off to stick it onto your phone. If you're going to put it in a case, and just put it in the case and then put the case on it, and then you can reuse them, and then you're good, right? And then if you want to use them without a case, stick them on. And if you need more different colors,
Sam,
order up.
Because it's Father's Day coming up in the UK, let me just double check. They have some deals coming up. Let's have a little look at extremeskins.co.uk. I don't know if the deals are on yet though, but they're coming. Well, today they've got buy one get one free.
There you go.
Another hour going on that, but keep an eye out because Father's Day they're gonna have a load of deals.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, check them out. They do really good, and we love them, and we order them all the time. I've got them on my phone. On my actually, I still have it. I still have my Extreme Skins. See, look, folks. This is not bullshit. See, look, it's still on my Duo. It's still there. I kept it, and it's not come off. I used to do all the time. It's not peeling. It's not bubbling, dude.
These Steam Decks, PlayStations, Xbox, Nintendo skins, headphones, laptops.
Yeah, if you get your new Switch 2, they'll take care of that. You got the old Switch, the Switch. Check them out. We highly recommend them. They are fantastic. And if you have a problem, need an issue, have to return a thing or change a thing, if you have an order problem, reach out to their customer support. They're always really, really proper chaps and ladies, and they respond quickly, and they'll get you squared away. Don't go to D-Brand. Costs a lot of money. Don't go to Slick Wraps, all those other companies, right? Go with a company that, it's Slick Wraps. I think it's Canadian. I believe it's in. Yeah, don't go to them. Go to extremeskins.co.uk. Tell them we sent you, and remember, skin your shit, and check them out.
SYS.
Also, yeah, that's it. So yeah, we had a good time. Joe's getting through the content creation. It's a process, right? It's a journey.
Got
Not
3 days off next week in a row, Sam. So expect some
right.
more stuff coming.
Absolutely. I don't have any days off because that's not how I move. But that's okay. Affiliate? No, not really. We just tell them we just think that's a good company,
Well,
and
I need to reach out to them because they did send us some stuff. And when we first started the channel, we did one giveaway, didn't we?
yeah.
But I haven't reached out to them really, and I really should because I
Yeah.
should get
So
some stuff.
yeah, and then what we do that kind of thing, but even though we're not official sponsors or sponsored by them, I just think it's a great company. I live in the United States and I order from them all the time. And the other day I ordered skins and it took a little while just because the Royal Mail kind of had some weird. It had nothing to do with those guys. They fulfilled the order very quickly within like I think 36 hours. It just got stuck in Royal Mail and it got stuck in a DC somewhere. So whatever. But yeah, check them out. If you're in the UK or if you're in Europe or Eastern Europe or Western Europe or whatever, they'll probably get you taken care of with everything going on right now with Royal Mail and shipping and stuff and then costs. It took me like almost a month and a half to get them, but it has nothing to do with the folks over at Drewskins. They got that order fulfilled very quickly. So Royal Mail just kind of shit the bed. So whatever, it's fine. It's
Wrong
okay.
with mounted Royal Mail stuff.
Yeah, they do right there. They're about that life, their main character energy. Anyway, so for myself and for Joe, we're going to go ahead and sign off. We appreciate you guys jumping on the Saturday version of the show. And again, like we said, if Saturday afternoons make more sense, if you like to see these Saturday shows, if you just kind of give it a little bit, you can let us know, man. Give us some feedback. Let us know. You can email the show, nomadproject at gmail.com. nomadtechproject at gmail.com. You email the show and or just send us the chat. We're like, just send us messages. We don't care. You can, Joe and I are available and you can email us. So you can send us a message. Tell us we suck. That's okay. We're okay with that. Thanks for stopping by and kind of coming on a Saturday. I know this is a weekend and again, a different time than we're normally on. So we also didn't kind of prep this out. We didn't actually have any kind of like, giving you guys a warning last week, like, hey, we're going to go off on Saturday. It literally happened this afternoon about 2 hours ago. So thanks for popping in. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for downloading, listening to the show, telling your friends, and just thanks for being great tech humans, right? And just humans in general. We always love you guys. We love you coming on. We love your feedback. And we appreciate, because to me and Joe would probably do the show even if nobody listened, right? We would just do it just because it gives us an outlet. We talk about tech and everything else. But the fact that people really, I've heard, that they really look forward to our show, which to me is just the most crazy shit you can ever imagine. That anybody would want to listen to me or anybody else talk about tech is funny considering all the options you have in this space, right? We appreciate that. It's very, very nice, and we love you guys for it. And keep coming back. It's like an AA meeting, right? Keep coming back. It works.
You guys.
So for myself, for Joe Hickey, thanks for tuning into Nomad Tech Project on a Saturday special. We'll be back hopefully next Sunday with no problems or whatever. And enjoy your tech. Try to be good humans. Don't be a dick. And then just don't.
Just don't be a dick.
Right. And thanks for tuning in. And we will catch you on the next episode of the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe. Love you guys. Take care.
Bye-bye. Peace.